So hello everyone and welcome along to another racing night in TGB2 Season 22. We are here for the first race here in China at the Shanghai International Circuit in Jiaoding, Shanghai. It is a Grade 1 facility like it would be for all FIA circuits on the F1 calendar, opened in 2004. It is a 3.3 mile circuit with 16 turns, and the real life lap record is held by Michael Schumacher with a 1 minute 32.2. But now let's move on to what's actually we're here for. TGB2 Season 22 is round 5, round 7 even. 6, 7, oh god, I'm confused myself here. Round 6 at China, that's the one. Got there in the end. We're on round 6 at China. And we'll just go have a quick rundown of the championship standings. So Dansgar is currently leading the championship on 111 points. Then we have TGIP Plays in second place on 95. Kyle is third on 54. Chris Johnson is fourth on 47 points. And then fifth in the championship is the reigning champion from last season, Luca Chiapelli, down on 33 points. And he was not qualifying in this session. So how are you feeling about all this tonight with my commentary partner, Jean-Luc Taylor?
Welcome, good evening everyone. It's going to be an interesting night with a couple of new guys. Well, at the top of the stands at the moment, we've got Sim Racing Davis making his debut, currently on pole, on 31-2, ahead of Marco, who's making his first appearance this season, who's just a 10th down. We've got the Championship lead Dansgar only third at the moment, within a couple attempts of pole seeding, looking to try and get himself to the front row at minimum. And then we've got the two Salvers, Chris Johnson and Plays in 4th and 5th. Plays currently on a lap now, coming towards the end of the long kilometre straight into the hairpin. And it looks like he's on for a good lap here as he's approaching the final corner. Very tricky corner, easy to run wide and makes it lose a bit of time and fight that a little bit. But Plays gets it across, and there we go, on to pole for TGIP Plays with a 1:30.8, a great lap, 4 attempts clear, a couple of minutes to go in the session. He gets nicely out of the way from Mr. John, who's just starting his flying lap. We've got quite a few of the front runners just on outlaps now as we approach the end of the session, so it'll be a very, very close end of the session. We'll probably be seeing quite a few fast laps coming in as we prepare for the race, of course. Qualifying obviously leads up for the race. No gripping on this other one at the moment, I don't believe, which is still good news. So I tip at the moment going by this is TGIP Plays with that lap. Very, very good lap. As the on board was Sim Racing Davis, who's just coming around the last corner now to get his lap. And I'll take it back to you, Owen.
Right, so yeah, we've got minute 13 to go in this session now. We've got some guys starting up their final laps of the session. Looking through quickly on the ordering, it's going to be ordering as they stand at the moment with the rest of the top 4. So Sim Racing Davis second on the timesheet at the moment is going to be the first one to cross the line. Then it'll be Marco, and then it'll be Dansgar. So we're going to follow Sim Racing Davis. He's heading towards turn number 6, I believe. Yes, turn 6 at the end of sector 1. Let's get the lap data on and see how he's doing. Decent run through there. He's in the middle of sector 2, coming through this fast flowing turn number 7 now, and then you slow it down a little bit for turn 8. Just a tad, not a huge amount. Round turn 8 he comes, and you got to slow it down a bit more for turns 9 and 10. Very tricky couple of corners, turns 9 and 10. Through he goes in his Force India, and what's his sector 2 kind going to be? Heading down towards turn 11 now, and it's a decent middle sector by the looks of it. Not too shabby Alonso as he comes round the long sweeping snail corner, and he's backed out the lap. So we're going to switch back to Marco now, who's on a flying lap. TGIP Plays has retired from the session. He's confident with his pole time. He's 4 attempts clear of anyone else as we close down towards the end of this session. So let's see how Marco does. Coming through turn number 9 now in his Toro Rosso. Powers out towards the end of sector 2 now. What's his split time going to be? Is it going to be anything decent? 24-1 middle sector that was for him. So not too shabby Alonso himself. Round he goes through 12 and 13. He's done his lap. Marco is still going, coming round the end onto the massively long back straight, over a kilometre, or nearly a kilometre I believe, this back straight here in China. There's a yellow flag at the end, at the hairpin. Nothing to worry about though. We've got Dansgaard just in the background there. He's not too far behind either. So coming around the last couple of corners now, Marco. Just got one corner to go. Turn number 16. Round he goes. There's Davies' cars parked out. That was the yellow flag. His time is going to be... Is he going to improve? He's on a 31.3 and he goes to a 31 dead. He goes to second place. He jumps Sim Racing Daisies. Now we've got Danskar coming across the line. What's his time? He doesn't improve. And it's a 31.4. So TGIP Plays is going to be your pole sitter in the Chinese TGP2 race in season 22. So quick rundown of the grid now once it loads up for you. We're going to see any second now. Just waiting for it to load up. And there is the quick rundown of the grid. So, TGIP Plays is on pole position by 2 tenths over Marco in his Toro Rosso, returning tonight after a couple of weeks out. Then we've got Sim Racing Davies in 3rd. Then we've got Danskar in 4th. Elite Shots in 5th. Chris Johnson 6th. Dom Smith in 7th. Michael Kenny in 8th. Red Bull Kim in 9th. Dizek in 10th. Mr. John in 11th. No Time for Howitzer. And then Bazza and Chiapelli have got qualifying bans, so they will start at the back of the grid. So what are your predictions for this Chinese Grand Prix, Jean?
Well, with that lap, Plays definitely put himself in a great position championship-wise with his title rival, Danskar. Only, was it 4th? Sorry, I believe it was 4th place, but if it was like that in the race, that's a 13-point swing, and that would close the championship lead to just 2 points, which would be brilliant for the Sauber driver. But we'll see what the weather does as well for the race, because of course yesterday in TGP1 the rain came quite late on in the race, and the 2 guys at the back of the grid, Jack Pearson and Mike Noon, decided to risk it on medium tyres, the hardest available tyre, and it paid absolute dividends for them as they pitted for their only stop just as the rain began to fall for intermediates, and they just absolutely blitzed all the front runners in the last few laps. A taker 1-2, Mike Noon taking his first win in 7 seasons at TGP1. So it'd be interesting to see if weather plays a part, but that will be obviously good news for the likes of Chiapelli and Bazza if that happens.
Right,
again.
the lights are coming on. So 4, 5 lights, we're getting ready to go in China. Lights are out, and we're away here in the Chinese Grand Prix. Let's see how we're getting on at the front. Got a decent start. Marco's trying to sneak it up the inside of TGIP Plays. Doesn't quite make it stick. We've got a little bit of smoke going on in the background. Anyway, coming around the first couple of corners, TGIP Plays just about holds on. Sim Racing Davies going to try and sneak it up the inside of Marco. Coming around turn number 2 and 3. Round he goes. They're going to be side by side heading towards turn 6 now. Still side by side. He's going to be on the outside, so he's not going to be able to make it move most likely. And Marco does him on the brakes. Gets a slow exit. He's going to try and look at him in the exit, but that was a decent start there, Sean, from the field.
Yeah, very good start indeed for Plays. Managed to hold the position to turn 1 and made it stick, as Baz has made a great start from the back.
Oh, sorry, there's a bit of contact further up. And Marco's gone round on his own. Marco has binned it on his own. I was following Sim Racing Davis in 3rd place, and Marco just got a wheel on the grass and looped it round coming into turn number 9. He's dropped a massive positions after a good qualifying for the Toro Rosso driver. I mean, Sim Racing Davies is up to 2nd. Danskar is in 3rd. Then we've got Chris Johnson in 4th. Elite Shots in 5th. Dom Smith 6th. Dizek in 7th. Goings in 8th. Marco down to 9th after that spin, and Chiapelli already from the back is up to P10. So, decent start from the field. We've got Danskar looking to make a move round the outside of Sim Racing Davies into the hairpin. It'd be bold if he made that work. And Davies has actually run wide, which means he's going to be on the outside for 16 there, Danskar, but just not quite close enough as they finish the first lap here in the Chinese Grand Prix here in China. That's the one I was going for.
Goings has made a brilliant start for the back of the grid. He missed qualifying, started 16th. He's already up to P8, so that's a superb start from the runner driver, who's also, as he now gets past Dazek for 7th, he's also on the harder compound tyres, so he could be one to watch towards the end of the race. I can tell you there was a bit of contact at the back of the grid at the first few corners involving Red Bull Kim, who ended up in a spin, and Mr. John having to take evasive action towards the back of the field. And I think where we lost Marco for a spin, I think Bazza went off at the same place. He lost a number of positions, and Michael Kenny, who had a very decent qualifying, up in 8th position. He's dropped all the way to the back. He didn't get going off the line at all. It's a terrible start for McLaren, and by the time he got to turn 1, he's already at the back of the field, so not great for him. But meanwhile, TGIP TGIP plays is absolutely running away with it. It's nearly 2 seconds clear already. He's broken that DRS when it becomes available in the next lap. But Danskar holding on to the back of Sim Racing Davies as we come onto the back straight. The speed shooting really does work here, as you can see now. He's quickly goes to the back of the 468. He's going to try and look to the inside. Sim Racing Davies has to lose space, obviously, and there, side by side into hairpin as well. That's going to be great if Sim Racing Davies holds it on the outside.
He is holding it around the outside. They're heading towards turn 16 now, Sean. And he just about holds on. Danskar stays in behind. Dom Smith has gained a position on Goings there. Or something's happened in the background. Danskar's actually just gone past Sim Racing Davies. So poor exit from Sim Racing Davies in the Force India. And that has allowed Danskar through and up into second place. But Sim Racing Davies ain't giving up just about yet in his Force India. Coming around these very horrible first couple of corners. I'm not a fan of this Shanghai International Circuit personally, but it does produce good racing from time to time. They're heading down towards turn 6 now. It's battle for the second place on the podium. Behind TGRP plays, he's got out to a 2.3 second lead. That's a poor run there through Danskar, and it's going to be side by side into one of the quickest corners on the circuit. Sim Racing Davies isn't going to get the move done. Just about, yes he has, he's got the move done. He's up into P number 2. Danskar down to P3, but I don't think this battle is over yet, Sean.
No, absolutely not. Meanwhile, Goings just got past the lead shots at P6. Dom Smith up to P5 as well, so good start for the Red Bull driver. I can tell you just where Marco recovered on the circuit on that one. A load of cars had to take a phase of action, so there is a bit of a gap in the field from 10th downwards. Chip heading down in 12th, Badger down in 14th, so what were good starts for those two. They've kind of lost a bit due to incidents going on further back. But here we are then, again, on PRS. Not really got the ERS charged up, but he's going to sit back and just wait it out. I'm wondering if tyre wear can play a bit of a role here, because some of the drivers yesterday did put very early on.
And speaking of people pitting early, Plays is in. Yeah, Plays is in. The other two carry on. Anyone else going to take up Plays' opportunity? There's a Red Bull diving in the background. I think that's Dom. I think that's Elite Shots as well, diving into the pit lane. So a couple of guys, early takers on lap number 3 of this race, have taken a pit stop. Elite Shots has picked up a penalty for speeding into the pit lane, so that's not what he wanted there. Goings is now up to 4th from the back of the grid, and he's got the harder tyres on, so he's going to be going quite long into this race. So he's going to be just trying to use the clean air that he's got. He's got about 1.8 seconds to Chris Johnson at the moment. Just try and use that clean air to a bit of his advantage. Meanwhile, I'm going to look a bit further down the field. We've got Chiapelli looking all over the back of James. This is the battle for 6th and 7th. Chiapelli from the back of the grid on the harder tyres himself. He's on the soft tyres, and we've got James on the ultra soft tyres. They're coming through towards turn 6 and 7 now. But is any... Well, that's an interesting strategy call from Plays. Do you think it'll work out for him, John?
Well, it could come back to bite towards the end of the race, but I will tell you, early on yesterday's race, they had a massive undercut on some of the guys that hit a lap or two later, so it's not a bad strategy by Plays at all. Taking the advantage of the early lead he had to try and build it up, just defend and look after the tyres towards the end. That could be a good strategy by him in there until
meanwhile, James has run wide. Yeah, James has run wide through the Snell section, and that means Chiapelli is all over the back of him now, heading towards the DRS zone. He's going to have the DRS wide open now, heading down the straight, and that looks like, oh, they've made wheel-to-wheel contact. That's not what you want from the Red Bull and the Mercedes. James absolutely launches it full shalom down the inside, and he's run wide. He's going to try and hold on to the position, but I don't think he can, and he's probably going to dive into the pit lane this time round. Yes, he does. So James is in, and so are the leaders as well. So it'll be interesting to see where Sim Racing Davies and Danskar come out compared to Plays. We're just watching them come out the pit lane now. I think that's Plays just coming across the line now. So he's got to be in front of the pair of them, like he was before the stop. He had a decent margin before the stops. But yeah, order is back as normal. Plays, Sim Racing Davies and Danskar are the net top 3 in this race so far. Goings is your current race leader, and Mr. John is in 3rd with Chiapelli in 2nd. Hausitzer is getting very close to the back of Mr. John actually. He's on the medium tyres, Hausitzer, versus the soft of Mr. John, and they're going to go side by side round 7, and it doesn't quite work. He can't pull off the same move that Sim Racing Davies did earlier on Danskar, and he's...
Oh, Chiapelli's off.
Oh, chip. What?
Sorry
Okay.
to interrupt Chiapelli doing what Michael did in lap 1 and just ran wide, dipped it on the grass and around he went. He's lost a number of positions there. He's lost 4 places. He's actually now behind Plays. He's already made his pit stop. So that's a disaster for the reigning champion. It's difficult to start the season continues. Meanwhile,
well, you've got this battle for P3 brewing between Howitz and Bazza. Bazza starting at the back of the field. Howitz didn't have a good session either. He's on the mediums. It's mediums versus soft. They're both going to have DRS on the back of Mr. John's car, but Howitz isn't quite going to be close enough, and Bazza thinks better of making a move. Nearly clips the back of Mr. John does Howitzer actually in the braking zone, but just about makes it look okay. And they both carry on. This is probably the closest battle on the circuit now. Well, Marco's actually just overtaking Dom Smith. That's a battle for P10. But we've got Bazza looking up the inside towards turn 1 now. Is he going to make the move? No, he doesn't. He's going to try and do the long way. Doesn't work either. And he's just looking. He's clearly got the pace advantage, Bazza, over Howitzer. Mainly because he's on the softer compounder tyre. It's soft tyres versus medium tyres here in this race. So this battle for P3 on the road at the moment. Plays is surely lurking in the background. We could actually see him starting to make an attack on this battle. He's got fresh tyres. He's already made his stop and is the net leader of this race, Sean.
Yeah, I was just going to say he has pulled up very quickly as well. And he is bringing the lead down towards Goings as well. So he's got less than 14 seconds, the gap between the leader and the first pit stops. Guys that have pitted. Meanwhile, Marco's made that move back on Dom. He made the move at the end of the previous lap, but he ran deep into the hairpin, and Dom managed to get that through on the inside. As Marco had to.
Bazza's just clipped the back of Howitzer. Sorry to interrupt, but Bazza's just clipped the back of Howitzer. He got a slow run through into turn 12 there, and didn't give him a good run. Now Plays is looking all over the back of this battle now, like he's just preying on him. He's looking. He's an eagle swooping in. He's going to make the move up the inside. Not really a lot Bazza could do, and he's nearly at the back of. He's going to make 2 moves actually. Plays has done the pair of them in one corner. He's done Bazza on the straight. He's dived up the inside of Howitzer, and he's got the move done, and he's up into P3 in this race, trying to chase after Mr. John in P2. Goings has got a 12.9 second lead currently over this battle, but he hasn't stopped yet. He started on the soft tyres. He didn't make qualifying, so it's getting very interesting. Meanwhile, it's all getting very spicy in this battle for P2, with the leaders getting involved in it as well now, Sean.
Yeah, it's critical for Pace to make these moves quickly. He's going to have Sim Racer Davis get onto the back of the train very soon. He's going to bring along Dan's car as well. So he had to make the moves when he did. It was a bit of a risky one, considering these guys, not the same strategy, you know, but he's made it stick, and he's going to try and go around the outside of Mr. John here.
No, it's not going to work.
Decided discretion is the better act of valor, and backed it off. Of course, he's got the DRS. He'll have the DRS onto the straight. You're having a little look at the inside. See, his pace.
I think he's going to have him now. Yes, there we go. Plays his pass. He's up into P2 in this race. Mr. John's down at P3, and it's getting very spicy down the field here. This battle for P2 is just growing and growing. It's a train. We've got Chiapelli passing Bazza as he gets an awful run through turns 11 and 12 there. Not a very good run at all, so Chiapelli's back up a place. We've got Howitzer looking at the back of Mr. John, and now Sim Racing Davies and Danskar have joined this battle as well. It's a very long train, this battle for P2 at the moment.
Yeah, we've got, what, 7 cars, second down to 8, full separated by just about 4 seconds. Obviously, it's just as important for Sim Racing Davies and Danskar to get these moves done very quickly. These guys aren't stopping, of which none of them are. All of them start for none of that. Plays though, he's got that open, he's got that clean air now. He can chase down after going, which is obviously a good strategy. Has that 13-second lead as Sim Racing Davies is trying to go around the outside of Basil.
Howitzer's getting the move. Oh, wheel-to-wheel contact between the Force India and the Mercedes through turns 3 and 4. And he just about has to stick behind there. Chiapelli is lurking in the background, and it's all getting very spicy in this battle. We've got Sim Racing Davies looking all over the back of Bazza. Howitzer having a move down the inside of Mr. John. Is he going to get the move done? No, he doesn't, not quite. And Chiapelli's lurking in the background. Mr. John just causing a massive train of about 5 cars at the moment. Plays has already buggered off 2 seconds down the road from this battle after getting through. And now we've got Chiapelli looking to the outside of 9. We've got Sim Racing Danskar. No, sorry, I'm getting my Ferraris mixed up there. Danskar is, wow, that is getting all very chaotic. I don't know what's happening anymore. Sim Racing Davies and Danskar both past Bazza now. That's where I was trying to go with that sentence. So they're both in front of Bazza. We've just about seen that in the background. But we've got Mr. John holding up everyone in this race so far. That is an awful camera angle, Cody's, you've given me there. So I'm going to have to watch it. On board with Chiapelli. Looking down at the two in front, battling nicely. Howitzer looking to the inside. Is he going to get the move done? Yes, he does. He's got the move done. He's passed Sim Racing Davies. Dives down the inside of Chiapelli. And no, they're getting argy-bargy. The Force India. There's two. It's like symmetry in motion. You've got the Force Indias and the Mercedes side by side in the same line, 2 by 2. I didn't realise this was Noah's Ark today. We've got Sim Racing Davies side by side with Chiapelli still. The two in front peeled into the pit. So it's Mr. John and Hauser. They're into the pit lane. And now it's Chiapelli battling with...
Look at Danskar.
And Danskar, yeah, sneaking up the inside as well. Wow. This battle has got a bit of everything at the moment. It's getting very, very crazy at the moment. We've got Chiapelli running in fourth. Sim Racing Davies is past and through, so he's going to clear off sometime soon. So Danskar really needs to get past ASAP towards and keep up with Sim Racing Daisy. Bazza's not going to try and give him too much trouble. Their teammates, they don't want to run over each other in this race, and they're on completely different strategies, as you can see from the tyre detail we have on the screen at the moment. Mr. John and Howard's gone on to the ultra soft tyres. We've got 4-lap older tyres for Mr. Chiapelli compared to Danskar, so this shouldn't take too long, but he wants to get this done ASAP, won't he, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just to give you an idea of just how much that fighting was slowing that group of cars down. That TGIP plays gained 2 seconds on Mr. John and half a lap alone before Mr. John pitted, and now he's got
and there's the move.
Sim Racing Davis, as Danskar makes the move on Chiapelli, an easy one in the end, but Chiapelli having a look back, probably try and go for it, decides against it. Not really his battle at the moment, as he's on a different strategy. But it's interesting to see what the Force India and Ferrari can do now in some clear air. And I'll tell you, Sim Racing Davis is closing the gap down a bit. It's brought it down from 4.8 to 4.1, so he's got a bit of pace there in that Force India, and Danskar will go along with him. Danskar, I do believe, has the fastest lap at the moment from 1:34.7, which is 3 tips quicker than what Pace has done. So, be interested to see what these two could do in some clear air now, as well as if Pace's tyres can hold on. He hasn't really made too many inroads on goings. The gap was about 13.
Well, the closest battle on the circuit, I was having to interrupt you, is Marco all over the back of Chris Johnson. The battle for P7. He's diving up the inside into turn number 6. Chris Johnson just about leaves him room. We weren't sure what Marco's going to do there. They're going to be side by side coming towards turn 7. And Marco, is he going to try and sweep around the inside? They're still side by side going around 7. And he has to back off eventually. And Chris Johnson maintains the position for the time being. But Danskar, Sim Racing Davies should clear off from Chiapelli now. There's a little bit of a buffer. So this is the closest battle on the circuit at the moment. The battle for P7 between the Sauber and the Toro Rosso. We've got Marco diving down to the inside at turn 11, is he? No, he thinks better of it. He's got to wait for the DRS to come into play now. So heading round 12 and 13. The long wait to put the power on perfectly. He's got to be careful. He's actually not done that well there, but the DRS should bring him back into play now. He hasn't really got a lot of ERS to use either though. He's down to 1%. Is he going to run out of ERS? Yeah, he's run out of ERS, and he's not going to have the chance to dive up the inside of Chris Johnson at the hairpin in this race. Meanwhile, Danskar is starting to claw back in on Sim Racing Davies, John, and Goings is into the pit lane.
Yeah, so well, it'll be interesting to see where Goings comes out. He's going to have 4 laps to attack and chase down these cars in front. It's not terribly far away from the podium, it has to be said. Sim Racing Davis and Danskar scrapping it out now.
Yeah. And Goings has just peeled out the pit lane right in front of this battle for P6 and P7 we're watching. So that's good news for him. He's going to be on the ultra soft tyres, I believe. Let's have a look. Yes, he will be on the ultra soft tyres. So he's going to be ahead, and he should pull away from this battle. Marco's going to dive it down the inside of turn 6, full shaloming it, and he gets the move done. He's past Chris Johnson, and he's up into P6 in this race. And now he's going to try and keep up with Goings. That's going to be a tall order for him, especially with Goings on the ultra soft tyres, John.
Yeah, Goings already down the inside of Bazza and makes the move for P4. He's going to be chasing down. And Bazza very nearly off the roads trying to hold on to the tyres. His tyres have gone. He has to pit this lap. But Goings, he's got 4 seconds to Danscar on the podium. I mean, with the difficult tyres, you know, the ultra softs 2 steps softer than the soft tyre, and they're also going to be around about 5 or 6 steps fresher. So he's definitely got a chance of making this podium here. He's only 3.8 down, and these two are going to be fighting as well for that second position. So it's a good opportunity for Goings to get from the back of the grid to the podium.
Yeah, this battle for P2 is heating up again. It got quiet with a little bit of that traffic with the Mercedes and the Ferrari of Bazza getting in the way, being on a different strategy. But now they've caught back up to each other, and Danscar is all over the back of Sim Racing Davies' watch again. And Goings from the back of the grid is back up into P4. And he's surely going to be smelling blood on these two. He's got much fresher rubber, and he's got on the softer compound tyre. So he's just going to be smelling blood with these two in front. And he's going to swoop in like an eagle probably and take the pair of them. That's his plan anyway. So we're on lap number 12 of this race. And we'll have a quick rundown of the field. Of plays, we've hardly spoke about him. The race leader, he's 5.5 seconds up the road from Sim Racing Davies. Then we've got this battle for second between Davies and Danscar. Goings 2.5 seconds now and closing on this battle in 4th. Then we've got Marco in 5th, Chris Johnson in 6th. We've got Dom Smith in 7th, Dizek 8th, Mr. Chiapelli up to 9th, Mr. John in 10th, Elite Shots in 12th, and Bazza, the last of the point scorers so far in this race, in 12th. Howsit's 13th, Michael Kenny 14th, and Red Bull Kim at the back of the field with only one retirement so far, and that is James. As we go round 12 and 13, watching the Ferrari getting closer and closer. Well, he's actually dropped back a little bit this time round. He's not going to be able to make a move into the hairpin. He's just going to be too far back. And Goings is now 2 seconds behind this battle. So last lap, he's going to be right on him in DRS range, John.
Yeah, we've also got a fight for fifth. Marco very, very wide coming from straight Chris Johnson with the ERS, and DRS turned up. And he's going to make the move step 3 if he gets the corner to retake that P5. Marco, he's got very low ERS and his fuel indicator's flashing, so I think he is running a little bit light on fuel, so he might have to look after that for the last few laps. He's going, so it's the first lap of the race, but 33.6, that's over a second quicker than anyone else. That shows you sort of advantage that the ultra soft tyres given him.
Meanwhile, Danscar's trying to make a move on Sim Racing Davies, trying to sneak it up the inside of turn 2 there, didn't quite make it work, and they'll come through 3 and 4, heading towards turn 6. He's just not quite close enough to make a move into turns 5 and 6. And Goings is now a second and a half behind. He's definitely going to be on this battle on the final lap in DRS range, and he's going to have much fresher rubber, so he's going to be hoping for a P2 out of all this.
It's definitely a possibility, and he's closing very quickly. Danscar, you can see him sliding about. It was something I noticed early on in the race as well. We made a mistake to that Sim Racing Davies in the first place, where he just slipped wide at a corner. The tyres starting to give up some grip, but TGIP Place has just done exactly what I thought he would have done after the first stop. Come in early, get onto the soft tyres, get that undercut, get a big lead, and just look after the tyres and bring it home. He gained 2.5 seconds over 1 lap because of the undercut. And
he's now half a second behind Goings in his Renault. He is now officially in this battle. It's now a 3-way battle for P2 in this race. Goings on the freshest rubber, the softest rubber, and whoa! Jesus, Goings. I know you've got fresher rubber, but you don't have to nearly plough into the back of Danscar. You've got the fresher rubber. Just be patient, man. Yes, it's the final lap, but you've got to take your time. You've just got to think about it. So,
indeed. Meanwhile, Chiapelli having a look at the inside, does up for 8th. Chiapelli, a decent recovery from the lap of the very bad. Got unfortunate the first lap, but he looks like he's going to try and take P8 as he runs wide at the last corner. Actually, almost like a huge tank stamp.
Oh, here comes Goings. He's looking to the outside in towards turn 6. Is he going to make the move? Oh, they've made contact, and the championship leader is round. Danscar's round. He's got how many positions? I don't think he's going to lose out too much, but that will definitely be going to the stewards after this race, surely. What were you thinking, Goings? You just clipped the back of Danscar, the championship leader, sent him off, and you had the grip anyway. Why risk it? You had the grip. You just need to think about it, man. So, anyway, we're going to follow this battle. Goings is very close to the back of Sim Racing Davies. Surely he's going to have him on this DRS straight and get himself up into P2 in this race. So DRS is going to be open any second now. We're following Goings. TGIP Plays is just coming round the hairpin, I believe, in front. He's clipped the back of him, Sim Racing Davies. What goings? Just think about it. You're not in a touring car. They're getting very feisty, the pair of them off the road. Jesus, Plays is going to cross the line and take the victory, but we need to follow this battle to the line. And it looks like it's going to be Sim Racing Davies taking P2. Goings is going to be P3. Danskar will be very pissed off about that, down in P4. Excuse my French about that one. There's a battle brewing behind. Marco's just about going to beat Chris Johnson in the line for 5th and 6th. Dom Smith is going to come home in P8, I think, with a penalty. Yeah. So, yes, Chiapelli jumps in. So Chiapelli P7, Dom Smith P8, Dizek in P9. We're going to have Bazza crossing the line in P10, just about holding off Mr. John. Then we've got Mr. John in 11th for the Elite Shots, rounding out the points. How's it, sir, going to finish 13th? Then we've got Michael Kenny going to come home in 14th. Well, maybe not. He's running out. He's crawling to the line. I think he's out of fuel, actually. So is Red Bull Kim going to nick him before the line? I don't think he is. Michael Kenny's going to come home 14th. And Red Bull Kim's going to come home 15th. But Goings is driving towards the end of this race. And Sim Racing's Davies pushing him off at the hairpin. It's going to leave something to be desired and definitely be heading to the stewards, in my opinion. Don't you agree, Sean?
The instant of Danskar definitely has to be looked at. It looks like he's just getting too close to the back of the car in front as he goes to pull out to make the move, and he's just tagging the back of it. Danskar very lucky not to have his race ended there, to be honest. He went into the wall, but it looked like he didn't actually pick up any damage whatsoever. That easily could have been a DNF and a disaster for him. Meanwhile, though, TGIP Plays perfect race, played the strategy to a T, got the undercut to build that lead, and just brought it home safe and sound for the Sauber team. Also, the hairpin move for Sim Racing Davies, I knew that was going to happen. You're not going to risk losing a step on the podium on the last corner in the second last corner on the last lap. So I can't see too much of that going to the stewards. I think that's fair, firm but fair. That the incident going to Danskar will surely be investigated after the race.
Yeah, so here's a rundown of the race. So Plays wins the race by 5.4 over Sim Racing Davies, then Goings in 3rd, Danskar in 4th, Marco in 5th, Chris Johnson in 6th, Mr. Chiapelli 7th, Dom Smith with his 3-second time penalty drops himself to 8th, Dizek in 9th, Bazza 10th, Mr. John in 11th, and Elite Shots will round out your points finishers here in TGP2, because points go down to 12th place in TGP. So there we are, that is your top 12 points finishers, and we move on to the next race, which is going to be Baku and the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So what do you predict happening in Azerbaijan, John?
It's going to be a slipstream fest, really. It's a very, very tight circuit in places. The castle section could catch one or two out. We saw it in qualifying yesterday. We had a couple of guys get it wrong in the castle, and even in their session there, to be honest. But that was a very frenetic Chinese Grand Prix. Loads of action all the way through. Never ended, really. It was quite a breathless race to commentate on. But the biggest winner of that, obviously, TGIP Plays. The brilliant win for him, and that has brought I believe, the championship lead down to just 2 points for Danskar ahead of Plays. So it's the incident. Well, luckily it didn't make it worse for Danskar. Goings should have been more patient. He had superior grip, superior tyres. He had it all in the bag for second if he just had a little patience, just kept it calm, bided his time, waiting for the right moment. Yes, there were only 4 laps left when he put the tyres on, but the speed difference was so great that even if he just sat back for a corner or two, he wasn't going to lose the chance to gain a position. As you saw, he was right on the back of I forgot these names. Sorry, Sim Racing Davies. He was right on the back of him at the line. He even got the move down the straight. So there wasn't any need to unnecessarily tag the back of the cars in front by getting up to the back of the gearbox. But anyway, let's look forward to Baku. It should be a great race as always. It's a very challenging, like I've said, it's a challenging circuit. It's easy to get it wrong and make a mistake and have your race ended. So you have to be full of concentration for the whole race. It's a bit similar to Monaco in a way, but unlike Monaco, you've got the massive long straights to have a chance of overtaking. So we'll see what the race brings us, and I look forward to it, has to be said.
Yeah, Baku is definitely one of those circuits, like you said, very much like Monaco, where it's a street circuit, but unlike Monaco, you can actually probably overtake quite well around it because of the long straights in the first sector. 20 turns around this circuit here in Baku, 3.73 miles, and the real life lap record on this circuit is a 1 minute 43.4 by Sebastian Vettel in 2017. So, getting ready to go for round number 7 of the season here at Baku. Just waiting for the drivers to finish their half-time oranges and ready to go for the second half of the evening's proceedings. So, just waiting to go now from the main guys in the lobby. So, anything you want to talk about, Sean?
Well, I have to say it was a very, very interesting battle between Danskar and Sim Racing Davis for the last few laps. They were neck and neck all race, and shows just how competitive TGP2 can be in places. As you know, they both pitted, but they came out in that massive gaggle of cars who were all scrapping ferociously away. You had Mr. John, Mr. Chiapelli, and Baz are all there on different strategies, and it was good, clean stuff. They were fighting fiercely, but just about giving each other enough room so like no silly incidents happen, and they all got through it very cleanly. It was good stuff to see. It's always fun having a good group of cars all together on track out a good scrap of things, and while it wouldn't have been for the leading the race at the end because of the perfect race run by TGIP Plays, it's always good to see that sort of thing in league racing. So hopefully more of the same in Baku. It's a track that can offer it because of the slipstream effect down that massive long straight. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops and if anyone can take an important step in the championship battle between Plays and Danskar, because Danskar would be fiercely determined to make up for the incident at the end of China. He will be very motivated to right that wrong and get back on the podium. I believe that might have been the first time all season he wasn't on the podium, and it wasn't really his own fault in the end. So he'd like to get that run of podiums back up and going as we are about to get underway here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Yeah, just getting ready to go for Azerbaijan. I just had a quick look at the football scores for anyone who wants to know. It's currently 0-0 in Chelsea versus Brighton. It's currently 0-0 in Spurs' first game in their new stadium against Crystal Palace. And it's currently 1-0 to Manchester City against Cardiff, with the goal scorer being Kevin De Bruyne on the 6-minute mark. So we're getting ready to go here for the race here in Azerbaijan. And we'll probably start off with the session with watching one of the top guys go through a flying lap. Any ideas who you'd want to look at, Sean?
I think we have to look at Dan's car and see how he handles it around the circuit, because sometimes when you have a little incident like what happened in the last race, it does get you a bit angry, it does get you a bit pumped up, and I feel he would be right on the limit in the session. Hopefully he doesn't go over that limit and have a little accident or whatever that could really compromise his race, but he will definitely be the one to watch, I believe.
Yeah, so here we are getting ready to go. Beautiful sunshine here in Baku, ready to go for 18 minutes of qualifying in round number 7 of TGP2 season 22. Just waiting for these guys to pick their setups, because unlike TGP1, TGP2 have open setups, TGP1 have fixed setups, meaning in TGP1 everyone runs the same setup no matter what you do. And I've just heard from the Milton Keynes data centre provided by Red Bull that it'll be a wet race here in Baku. So dry qualifying, wet race, that's going to make it very interesting indeed, John.
Yeah, that's really going to throw the cat among the pigeons. I don't think I've ever taken part in a wet race in Baku in TGP before, so it'll be interesting to see how the guys handle it there. It'll be a new experience, I think, for a lot of the drivers.
Yeah, definitely be a new experience as we see a couple of cars heading out onto the circuit. So, out onto the circuit, first driver peeling out of the pit lane is Sim Racing Davis. He's coming out, he's going to be the first driver out on circuit in this session. So, not really a lot to start the session. It's quite an interesting country, Azerbaijan, quite one of the newer countries to the calendar of F1, and quite new and quite a developing country. They're trying to bring themselves out there, market themselves as a new tourist destination, Baku, and it's going to be hosting this season's Europa League final. But anyway, we've just got to follow a couple of guys. We're just waiting for the man you want to follow in this qualifying, Danskar, to follow him on a lap. Going to quickly look at Sim Racing Davies on this outlap though in his Force India, and yeah, wet race in Baku is going to make it very interesting indeed. I think it'll be a race of attrition, don't you agree, Sean?
Yeah, as just to show how much of a challenge this circuit can be, Sim Racing Davies just caught the inside wall at the exit of the castle section there. And that is the area where you can really gain a lot of lap time, but you really need to have the confidence in the car. Yesterday, for example, some of the guys in TTP1, they was just fully committed around there, while others were struggling a bit, and the difference really showed in the sector times, for example. Some of the guys that are normally at the front were nearly a second down the fastest in that sector alone, because one or two of the guys just got that belief and commitment in the car around the corners to just absolutely throw it in and make it stick out the other side. If you just lack that little confidence, it just makes you a little hesitant, a little cautious, and it's just throwing tenths of a second down the drain. So let's have a look at Sim Racing Davies.
Right, he's going to peel into the pit lane after damaging his front wing. So I think the first car actually out on the circuit on a hot lap is going. So the man who caused controversy towards the end of that last race is going to be the first one onto the circuit. We're going to ride on board with him and see how he does on this first lap. So coming through the first couple of corners, that was 1 and 2, heading down another long straight here at Baku that's full of them in sector 1. So coming towards turn number 3 now, braking about the 100-metre board, and he goes around turn 3, heading towards turn 4, another 90-degree corner. A lot of 90-degree corners on this circuit here in Baku. Round he goes around that one, and now we've got turn 5. Not quite a 90-degree corner, but that one is the following one. That is turn number 6. He's into sector 2 now, and now we're heading up towards the castle section. A tight second gear corner. It's quite a narrow straight leading up to the castle, and then it gets even narrower as you have to navigate your way through the castle section. Past the castle you go. Another couple of 90 right and 90 left corners you have to negotiate, and now you're on the fastest part of the circuit, flying down towards the Parliament Palace, I believe. So braking down to 4th gear, through, chucks it in, clips a decent amount of curb there, and now this is the last major corner on this circuit here in Baku. Got to get it right, got to get the exit perfect, because it leads you all the way back down to turn 1 as the last few corners are absolutely flat. So flying through now, gets through nicely in the McLaren, and now he's going to be looking to set a decent lap time. Just waiting and waiting for the DRS marker. There it is. He opens the DRS now. And what sort of lap time are we going to get from the McLaren driver? It's going to be a 1:39.4 from the McLaren driver. I've no idea if that's actually any good with a setup or not, because I can't really compare it to TGP1 pace with the fixed setups. But that's a decent run. But it looks like it's going to be a decent enough time. I reckon that time would probably put you about top 5 on the grid, wouldn't you, Sean?
We'll see, because that is done on the harder tyre, I just realised. It was on the super soft while most of the guys were in the ultra soft, so okay. I think one or two of the guys will go quite a bit quicker than that, but as it stands at the moment, we've got a few guys on the harder tyres. Giappelli and Robinson have been on the softest tyre, and they're about a second off. But compared to what TGP1 is doing instead, even with the default setups that they have to run, the pole time was under 37, so I think that time can be easily beaten, although Marco has just got set in a 1:39.
Yeah. Like you said though, he's on the ultra soft tyres at the moment, while going set his time on super soft. So did Bazza, his 41.4 is on super soft. We've got Danskar just coming out and actually starting a lap in this session now. He's one of the last ones to leave the pit lane, and now he's just flying down towards turn number 3, I believe. Yes, he is. So around turn 3, he's binned it. Danskar has binned it in qualifying. You say he needed a good reaction after having a poor end to that China race, not through any fault of his own, but he's just binned it at turn 3, locked the brakes, and he's just gone straight into the wall, and that's the end of his qualifying session. So championship leader going into tonight, Danskar will be starting at the back of the field, and that's quite shocking for you, Sean. Meanwhile, there's a couple other guys retiring as well.
Crashed as well. Yeah, Goings has crashed at the exit of a little kink at the end of the straight, just covered up to the straight. He's managed to hit the wall on the inside, and that's ended his session. The marker's gone off as well. So, like I was saying, it's very easy to get it wrong here. And in the case of Dan's car, I was telling you, he's probably getting a bit hyped up, a bit motivated, a bit angry after the incident in China. And sometimes you just cross that line just a little bit. You just over push the car, you make a little mistake, and bang! It ends just as easy as it did at turn 3 there for Dan's car.
Yeah.
As a number of front runners already out of the session. Bosman Sean was the first to crash out as well, so we've already lost 4 cars. Well, 5 cars, including Michael Kenny as well. So, both McLarens out at the same time. That could have been Michael Kenny in the wall that I saw there at the exit of the onto the main straight. But it shows just how challenging battery can be at times. If you just go over the edge that little bit, it can really just end your day very quickly. But anyway, Sim Racing Davis, he's kept it out of the water his final lap so far. He's going to come up with DRS now, and I'll tell you what, I think this might be pole, because it's looking very nice and tidy his lap, and he is going to cross the line with 37.8. That, I think, will be pole, because that is a statement and a half. 1.6 clear of second place. Who isn't going to set another lap? That shows you how a good setup can really benefit your time there, because a couple of the TGP1 guys were telling me yesterday before the races, the default setup can cost you a second and a half in terms of lap time, because obviously where you can't change the brake settings, your front wing settings or anything, you're going to be a lot slower down the straights because of the front wing. You're not going to be as committed on the brakes because your brake pressures aren't the normal settings, so you haven't got that much confidence. And at a circuit like Baku, where there's a lot of 90-degree left-hand gears, and tricky corners that you've really got to nail your braking on, you can lose a lot of time just by being a bit cautious, just make sure you don't hit the wall. And the curbs as well, you can easily get it wrong by just throwing it over a curb. The curb spits you out, and then they really go. So there's a lot of time to be gained here if you get it right, but a lot more that you lose if you get it wrong, as we've seen already in this session. So
yeah, we've got just riding on board with Elite Shots, who pits himself up into P5 in this session, and Elite Shots. Red Bull Kim's gone off. The Elite Shots went straight on at the corner. We've got Sim Racing Davies, like you said, statement time. You don't think that's going to be beaten at all in this session? I think Plays has definitely got some time to find. Goings was the main one. He was on the super soft tyres and then binned it, and he could have easily, I think he could have gained at least a second there, would have put him semi-close to Sim Racing Davis, but it's going to be tough to beat that 37.8, Jean, don't you think?
Absolutely. I don't see it being beaten at all, to be honest. Like, that is a superb lap, and I'm just trying to think back to the TGP1 yesterday. I think that's around about the pole time for TGP1, so that shows you what I was saying with some of the guys in TGP1 thinking they'll lose about a second and a half in terms of performance because of where they don't have their preferred setups on. And obviously TGP2, where you can use your setups, a lap like that's a brilliant lap. Yeah. So, and I don't see it being beaten at all. It's superb. It's TGP1 pole pace and whatnot. So it shows the sort of lap that Paul Sinclair's just set. And Plays is just on an out lap now. Just got to see how he can do with that. We've got Elite Shots going around in fifth. I think it's a bit of a banker lap more than anything at the moment. I think he's preparing for a flying lap, as he's got his aero switched off at the moment. Yeah, we've got
Chiapelli setting up for the flying lap himself, the reigning champion in TGP2. Not had the best of starts this season, Chiapelli. Not a good run for him in China. I think he's only had one decent finish. Still fifth in the championship going into tonight, though. So, but he's still already a long way off the championship leaders, John.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be a big challenge for Chiapelli to make up that deficit and have a chance to win the title. It's been a tough season for him so far. He's not had the good luck of results that he would have wanted. It's Chris Johnson very really big thanks to the DNF list in the sessions. He almost pitched him really at the last section. He's right front. He survives for another day though. He's got to carry on his lap. I don't think he's really going to do too much with this one after that little moment. He'll back off a little bit, just probably catch his breath a bit as we've got more yellow flags. And Dob Smith's now out of the session as well. I can't see where he's gone off.
I can't see where he's gone off either. I'm following Mr. Chiapelli on a flying lap on the ultra soft tyres. I've no idea if he's had a decent run so far. coming towards the end of Sector 1. It's a 35-6 Sector 1. No idea how that compares to Sim Racing Davis, but he's heading towards the castle section now. We've got, I think, Plays is also on a flying lap as well, a little bit further back down the road. And they're the two main runners at the moment who can maybe put in a challenge for pole. We've got Danskar. Yeah, with Danskar out, Goings out, Marco out. I think the only real challengers for pole position are going to be Plays and maybe Chiapelli for that 137.8.
They're the two I would say could have a chance of going up the field. I don't think they have a chance of cars, but as it goes P9 now, as is 3x4 attempts, and there's a big gap in there. That's a mighty gap.
That is.
I don't remember the last time I've
yeah,
seen
1.6 seconds currently. The gap between first and second on the grid, which is huge in TGP2 terms and huge in racing terms. You might as well make a cup of tea before you start the race if you've got that kind of pace in the bag. Yes, Goings did his on the soft tyres, so Chiapelli pops up in third with a 39.5. Go have a look at Plays now. He's just coming onto the main straight now. Just got a couple of corners to go, but they're flat, so they shouldn't cause him too many issues. And now we're going to ride on board with him, ride on board with the Sauber. What's his lap time going to be? 32, 33. I think it's going to be a 39 again. Oh, it's a 38.4 actually. He's 6 tenths off. So someone has finally breached himself in that gap between Sim Racing Davis and Goings, and he's currently put himself a second clear of Goings in second and 6 tenths behind Sim Racing Davis. But yeah, like I said, Plays and Chiapelli are probably going to be the two most likely to challenge for that pole, and I think Plays, he doesn't really have a lot more in the tank after that lap, and he's still 6 tenths behind.
We'll see what he can do in the last run. That's a solid lap by TGI Plays. You know, he's a second clear of the rest of the field, so it's a great lap. It's just Sim Racing Davis' lap. It's probably one of the best laps I've ever seen, to be honest, because it's just such a gap. Even before the Plays has bridged it by a good second or so, but 1.6, I think. Only
speak of the current pole sitter, he's out on a flying lap again. He's not satisfied with his 37.8. He feels that's going to be beaten. I don't see it happening personally. He could probably sit on his vlogs and still get... well, there you go. His session's now over as well. So he's not going to... He went out to try and better his 37.8, which I didn't really see happening anyway. But it's gone out to try and better it. So like we said, we've got how many cars left actually running in this session? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And no, we're down to 8. Thank you, Mr. John. Just as I was counting that. Well done. We're down to 8 in this session of the 16 runners with 3.5 minutes to go roughly in this session. TGIP Plays is going to be flying back to the pit lane now. He's going to quickly want to jump on another set of tyres. Chiapelli's going to be jumping on another set of tyres. But yeah, literally the only people I actually see maybe improving on that time is Plays and Chiapelli, and I think Plays doesn't really have a lot more left in the tank.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've got 8 cars left of the session out of field of 16. Of those 8, 2 have not actually left the pit lane yet, in Howitzer and Darzek. So we'll see if those 2 even come out, but there's 6 cars left in the session. Well, 8 of course, but only 6 that have actually gone on track. So, as I said, Baku, you've got to be 100% focused and concentrating the entire time, because just one little lapse and it can really ruin your day. And qualifying showed that.
We've got a little bit of track action at the moment with these 6 cars that are currently pootling around. Schultz is the only one actually on track and on a flying lap. He's just started it and he's heading towards turn 3 now. Is he going to bin it here? No, he doesn't. That's well done from Schultz. And if the drivers are struggling now in the dry, who knows what's going to happen in the wet for the race?
Yeah, I feel obviously in the race you're not going to be pushing it to limit as much as you did in the qualifying session, as the lead shots got to get it on the line through there, I have to say. It's not really going to help his lap time too much. But obviously in the way you hold back a little bit, because if you try going out the corner like you would in the dry, you're going to spin because there's just no grip. So they'll take it a lot more cautiously anyway, like you do in the race. You can't be on the absolute hook the whole time. It's just not really possible. You just tire yourself out and make a mistake somewhere eventually. But it's a very, very, very interesting proposition of back in the wet. As you can see in the drive, previous drivers have had their adventures But you know, I don't think the casual race will be as great. I think when it comes to the race, they have a bit more composure. They'll be a bit calmer with it. They're not going to, you know, try to throw it on the scenery.
I personally think it's just going to be a race of attrition. The race, in all honesty, I think we won't see. I'm going to say it now. I don't think we'll see more than 8 finishers. I really don't think we'll see more than 8 finishers. Elite Shots jumps ahead of Marco, and he's up into P5 in this qualifying session now. Bazza is currently on a flying lap himself, and then everyone else is on outlaps apart from Red Bull Kim. So we've got to keep an eye on Bazza now as he comes through the end of Sector 1, starting Sector 2. Got a little bit of a slide there, but I think he's going to carry on with the lap shot.
Yeah, I think you will be right there. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2.
I think it's Chiapelli slowing down.
Yeah, just getting out of the way. We've only got 5 cars at circuit in the last minute qualified, so it's almost like what we had in the days of like 2013, 2012 in F1, where only 5 or 6 cars would do like 2 runs because they just didn't have the tyres. So it's unusual qualifying session, as I said. It's very rare to have one like this where a lot of cars crash out or have problems. So it's been quite an interesting one to commentate on. But anyway, Chiapelli on his first lap. The first sector is almost a second up, so I think this is one we have to watch here.
Okay, right, we're just going to watch the end of Bazza's lap. I think he's the next person on a flying lap after Bazza. We're going to watch the end of Bazza's lap, see what he can do. Is he going to improve himself up the grid? Yes, he does. He jumps up to P6. He's now on a 39.8 even. So yeah, we're just going to watch Chiapelli. He's coming through the castle section now. Whereabouts is Chris Johnson on the circuit? Is he behind or in front of Chiapelli?
He is behind Chiapelli.
Okay, that's great. That's great, actually. That's fine. We can cut back to him afterward. I think Plays will be the last one to cross the line in this qualifying session. Bazza is out, but I'm not surprised. He'd done his lap. Shots is finished. He did his quite early, his final lap. So now we're just going to keep an eye on Chiapelli. A little bit wide. Actually, no, I think he nailed that corner, actually.
I'm just starting to wonder if I've jumped the gun a little bit, because it did say minus 0.9, but I think that might have been his previous best, because as soon as I said that and saw it, he then crossed for Sector 1, so I think that might have been on a previous lap rather than his current one, but we'll see anyway. It's kind of light. Yeah,
it's going to be a 38.9,
so he's getting 6 steps anyway. He's got himself up to 3rd, so that's a good session.
Yeah. Right, watching Chris Johnson now. He's going to be the next car crossing the line. He's on the main straight himself now in his Sauber. What's his lap time going to be? It's going to be 39.8. So that puts him P5 in this qualifying session, and we've just got Plays left going. Oh, and I think he's done. Is he? Yeah, he has. He's got front wing damage. That's his session done. So that is going to be your grid. Like you said right early on, Davis is... You did see that time being beaten. I kind of queried it, and then as the session went on, I kind of agreed with you, and it turned out to be the case, Sean.
Yeah, that was just a very special lap, I must have said. I was watching the lap, and he was just committed, on the limit, but not over pushing it. You know, he had it under control. He was leaving it all on the track, and he just didn't exceed the limit and just kept it all together and set a blistering lap. I want to go back and check yesterday's TGP2 times quickly if I can. I hope it's like, you know, kick me out the lobby or whatever while I have a quick check, because it was on my footage yesterday. So he did a 37.8.
Okay. Yeah, he did a 37.8.
I can tell you, Pole yesterday was a 37.4, so he did have been 3rd on the TGP1 grid yesterday.
Jesus.
So that
bear in mind they have fixed setups in TGP1 though, so read into that what you will. But that is still a stellar lap from Sim Racing Davies, and we're just waiting for Plays to retire from the session, and we can get on with the rundown of the qualifying results. Bit of argy-bargy happening there from the AIs of Chiapelli's car and one of the Williams. But he's qualified in 3rd position. So just getting ready for a rundown of the results here for round number 7 of the season, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So just waiting for the times to load up. So Sim Racing Davis 137.8 is on pole position, 6 tenths clear of Plays in 2nd. Then we have Chiapelli in 3rd, On the super softs, Goings in 4th, so he might be one to watch in this race. On the supers, actually it's wets. Forget that, it's a wet race. Chris Johnson is in 5th, Elite Shots is in 6th, then we've got Bazza in 7th, Marco in 8th, Dom Smith in 9th, Red Bull Kim in 10th, Mr. John 11th, Bossman Sean 12th, Danscar 13th, and Howitzer and Bazza and Michael Kenny all at the back of the field. And it's a wet race for Baku, which means it could get very interesting, John.
Yeah, absolutely. If qualified's anything to go by, this could be an absolute barnstormer, and there is the rain indeed. Obviously, we can't tell straight away until we see the cars on the grid if it's wets or inters, but I'm going to go on an assumption looking at that amount of rain and say it's inters.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. I'd say it's inters as well. So we're just waiting for the guys to sort out their strategies, their race fuel, ready to go for 13 laps around this Baku City circuit here in Azerbaijan. Round number 7 of TGB2 season 22. Just waiting for the last few guys to get themselves ready, hydrate themselves. Even though there's a lot of rain in the sky, they'll probably still be working up a sweat, these drivers, ready to go for 13 laps around this Baku City circuit. So the lights are on now, we're getting ready to go. 3, 4, 5 lights, the lights are on and the lights are out and the drivers are away, and it's into tyres like you said, Sean. It looks like a decent-ish start from some of the guys. Goings looking up the inside of TGIP Plays. Chiapelli and Goings making wheel-to-wheel contact, and they're through. So it's going to be Sim Racing Davis. Oh, and there's Chiapelli, I believe, in the wall. Is that correct? Oh, it's getting all argy-bargy in the background. It's all gone absolutely to chaos after Chiapelli chipping off a bit of his front wing. No retirements though.
And Sim Racing Davis just clipped the wall at turn 3 with the rear tyre. He's going to get away with that one.
Yeah, he has just about got away with that. No damage, but Plays is all over the back of him. There's a 5-second stop-go penalty for a few drivers for ignoring yellow flags. So if they stop in this race, that's not going to help them out. But Sim Racing Davies is your leader coming down through Sector 1. Then it's TGIP Plays in 2nd, Goins in 3rd.
Oh,
a little bit of a gap. Danscar's round as well. Oh dear, it's all kicking off in the background.
I was just going to say, Danscar made a brilliant start. Was already up to 7th place from the start. He just made a little moment. He's kept out of the wall. He's down in 9th now. Yeah, so it looked like into turn 2. There was Marco, Elite Shots, and Chiapelli all going into turn 2 together. I think Marco, he should have been a bit more.
Oh, Goings is gone! Goings is gone! Sorry to interrupt, but Goings is gone! Sim Racing Davies has lost his front wing! So it means TGIP Plays is now leading the race! Sim Racing Davies completely, no front wing gone. We've got Elite Shots out.
Elite Shots has done the same!
Has he done the exact same as Goings? The exact same as Goings, wow! Chiapelli, what's his front wing situation? Not great is probably the best way of describing that. Sim Racing Davies is gone! No front wing. Going through one of the fastest corners. I told you it would be a race of attrition, John. We've already lost 4 cars on this first lap. Plays has set the fastest lap of the race. I think Chiapelli might peel into the pit lane. Yes, he does. But I told you, Bazza into the pit lane as well. So Bossman Sean is up into 3rd in this race. It's a Sauber 1-2. And yeah, told you it'd be in a race of attrition. Half the field are already stacked it either in a wall or into the pit lane themselves for a new front wing. So that leaves us with Plays leading the race. Chris Johnson in 2nd. We've got Bossman Sean in the Toro Rosso in 3rd. Dom Smith keeping his head. He's in 4th place. Red Bull Kim from 10th on the grid is in 5th. We've got Mr. John in 6th. Michael Kenny in 7th. And it's the first of the stoppers with Chiapelli in 8th, Baz in 9th, Howitzer 10th, Dizek in 11th, and Danscar 12th on the field. And yeah, I told you it'd be a race of attrition. We've lost 4 cars on this opening lap.
Yeah, absolute chaos here in Baku. Danscar, he must have damaged the car when he put the wall. We've got yellow flags in Sector 1 as well, as Dazek's got straight on at turn 2. Something his teammate didn't qualify. That's actually turn 3, you know, not turn 2. No, that is turn 2. I apologise again. But absolute chaos. And TGIP Plays. All this Christmas must have come up once. He's got an 8-second lead over his teammate. Bossman Sean, who started 12th, is up in 3rd. Dom from 9th is now 4th. Red Bull Kim in 5th and 10th. And then, you know, just the more experienced guys just keeping themselves out of trouble on that opening lap. Michael Kenny, Mr. John, Dom Smith, been in TCP2 for a very long time. They are three of the guys that benefit the most from this start, as well as Bossman Sean, who just kept it clean. But he is definitely vision, by the way. His car sliding down those corners.
Well, that's actually surprising for Boschman Sean. He has a bit of a reputation of being a lap 1 bottle job, but somehow he's actually kept it all together on lap 1 this time round, and he finds himself in 3rd place after everyone else making themselves known to the barriers around the Baku City circuit.
Oh,
so
Red Bull Kid just caught the wall. Is that Mr. John just caught the wall? Sorry. Oh, Mr. Mike Kenny's caught the wall.
He's gone! He's gone, that's it! Mr. John is out of the race, there's another one. Danscar is gone as well. I told you there would be around 8 finishers in this race, and by lap 3 we're already down to 10 remaining.
Danscar's done what Goings did in the first lap, he's got that inside wall. I was just about to say, I was wondering if it's actually wet tyres, because these cars are sliding all over the place at the fast speed section, so they're just sliding about wildly. It's very risky stuff.
Yeah, Michael Kenny finds himself in the pit lane as well for a new front wing, so that's another one. And yeah, because of this race of attrition of guys being in it left, right and centre, we're down to 10 cars left already, and there's no real battles going on because of it. So
yeah, DGIP plays over 10 seconds clear already. Bossman Sean and Chris Johnson the closest to on track, but that's like 2 seconds apart. I was just looking through the last few corners. It is so treacherous on that left-right kink onto the main straight. It's numerous cars have just hit sideways into that corner.
Oh, there's a yellow flag.
Like he was going towards the wall. Bossman Sean looked like he was going towards the wall. Dom Smith looked like he was going towards the wall.
Well, there's a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. I think it's Bazza. Can you enlighten us on what he's done? Because
he has spun the car. He's spun the car coming around. He's lost his front wing as well. I think it was turn 4. He's lost it on the exit.
Right, okay. Meanwhile, just as I said, there was no battles. Bossman Sean is actually closing up to the back of Chris Johnson. He's about 1.2 seconds behind, and he's going to use the slipstream to his effect as they go through the fast kinks now. Getting very close to the walls here. He had a lot more commitment through that section than Chris Johnson did, and now he finds himself less than a second behind John.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be looking for a move. I'm just watching his cars around this corner, and you can just see it all just sliding in. And as they're going through, the group just goes Bazza. I almost join in Dan's car and Goings in that turn. I don't even know what corner that is. It's not even a corner normally. We don't even consider it a corner.
In the wet, I think it is a corner.
The 4th car. So it's the 4th car to end this race in that wall. So, wow. Let me have a moment to catch my breath after that.
Well,
chaos in the streets of Baku.
Yeah, it's getting very chaotic indeed. Bossman Sean and Chris Johnson is probably the closest battle on the circuit at the moment. About a second covering, and just as I say that, Michael Kenny goes to within less than a second of Bazza, but I think Bazza's got no front wing. Is that correct?
Yeah, no front wing.
Okay, right. So yeah, I've just had a quick look and seen that myself. So yeah, the closest proper battle on this circuit is between the Toro Rosso and the Sauber. So will the Toro Rosso try and ruin Sauber's day of a 1-2? Meanwhile, Plays is buggered off. Oh, no, Sean's gone!
No, he's gone straight to the water castle.
Sean has clipped the inside wall at the castle, and that is another retirement. We're down to 9 cars left in this race, and Dom Smith now finds himself on the podium in his Red Bull.
Red Bull Kim's come to a stop at the castle. I don't think he's ghosted. Sean's car. He's got out the way.
Red Bull Kim is now in 4th position. Red Bull Kim in 4th. Let's just comprehend that for a second, ladies and gentlemen. The man known as Red Bull Kim in his Haas is in 4th.
Dare I say someone else might end up in the kit lit before the end and give Red Bull Kim a podium? I think
Chiapelli is now caught up, is catching up to the back of him, so I think Red Bull Kim's chances of a podium are going to soon be dashed in this race as Mr. Chiapelli is clawing onto the back of him. Just as there was a battle brewing in this race, we find ourselves losing the main battle. Bossman Sean stacks it into the wall at the castle.
It just looked like he turned in too early. He turned in too early, caught the inside wall, and then went straight on into the opposite wall and blocked the castle off. Similar to what Sean Galale did in Formula 2 a couple of years back, where he blocked the entire castle section, caused an early red flag. as half the field was stuck behind him with nowhere to go. But what an astonishing race we've had so far. We're only on lap 5 of 13. But Osmo Shaw, Mr. John, Dan's car, Sim Racing Davis, Goings, Elite Shots and Marco all out in the opening few laps as the rain has stopped.
Oh, the rain has... Yes, I'll tell you what, the rain has stopped. Don't... Oh, dear. Chiapelli's just gone straight into the back of Red Bull Kim there. I don't think he's damaged his... Yes, he has. He's damaged his front wing doing that as well. So, he's very close to the back of him. He's got a bit of a gap to Howitzer, and then another big gap back to Michael Kenny. But, oh, what are you screaming at, John?
Oh, Dom Smith very, very nearly hitting the rear of his car against the wall of the castle. He's kept it out of the wall just about and got away with it. But my word, this is treacherous conditions.
It is very treacherous, and I think this is the, let's just say the lack of speed of Red Bull Kim, I think caught out Mr. Chiapelli there as he caught up to the back of him. I think he's a bit more wary now as he heads round towards the end of this lap. This is where he's going to actually lose time to Red Bull Kim with the lack of front downforce around this section. Is he going to try and move down into turn, I think 16 this is? No, he isn't. They both go bouncing along the curbs, and this is the closest battle on the circuit, and it's for P4 in this race, Sean.
Yeah, as you're going to see the difference between the two cars here. The wing difference really showing there for Chiapelli. Red Bull Kim, not brilliant for that corner, but the front aero is there. As Dom hits early, it is going straight onto the ultras.
Oh, so Dom thinks it's stopped raining, but Dom thinks it's ready now. I wouldn't have gone yet. I think that's a bold call.
We now have Red Bull Kim in a podium position.
Yep, we have. Thanks to that, we do have Red Bull Kim in a podium position. I think Dom has jumped out too early. He hasn't come out too far behind this battle, so it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if he actually gains any time. We've got Red Bull Kim defending from Mr. Chiapelli. Chiapelli, is he going to stick it up the inside at turn 3? No, not quite. And Dom Smith is, well, he was 3.5 when he came out the pits. He's already down to 4.7 behind. So it actually is 4.4. He is closing in on this battle, and he might get back his podium. Meanwhile, plays 17.8 seconds up the road. And yeah, I think Dom has jumped too early, actually. He is losing time to this battle of Red Bull Kim and Chiapelli. Definitely losing time, and I think he's jumped too early onto those tyres.
He's gone too early, but the thing is, he had such an advantage over these two anyway. It was practically a pit stop. They're both going to have to come in for tyres anyway when it gets a bit drier. Yeah. So it's not the end of the world for him. He's just going to keep it out the wall and he'll be alright. As close, it's the fastest stuff he enters.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just watching the two leaders through that left-right onto the main straight, and you just see they have the feather of the throttle. They can't brake, because if they brake, the aero and the grip just goes away. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, the difference in lap time is astonishing. There's 5 seconds difference between Plays and Chris Johnson that last lap. Plays is thriving in these conditions. He's loving it. While Red Bull Kim hits the wall.
Is Red Bull Kim? What's his situation?
He's broken his wing.
He's broken his wing, so he's probably going to nip in this time round. Is he? No, he isn't.
No, stays out.
Stays out. Chiapelli is now.
Would have seen that.
Yeah, Chiapelli looking in the background.
Oh, he's looked.
Howitzers is gone. We've got 8 cars left. My bet has come in. BetNoon.com. Where were the odds on that? Sorry about that. I shouldn't be so happy about a car going out of this race. But I said in qualifying there was going to be 8 or less finishers in this race, and we're down to 8 already, and we're only just reaching the halfway point here in Baku. Chiapelli's lurking so much in the background. Dom Smith is just dropping like a stone off this battle. Chris Johnson has got 30 seconds on this battle, so it doesn't really matter what the hell he does. He's going to still come out in front of this battle. Howard plays his teammate.
Chiapelli down the inside. Chiapelli down the inside. He's made it stick. That was a bold move.
No, Red Bull Kim's come back at him. Never mind. Red Bull Kim has come straight back at him, and he's... Oh, Chiapelli stuffs it on the inside. Don't both end up in the wall, lads. We've already had enough people go out this race. I said it was going to be a race of attrition, and I'm proved right. Chiapelli really struggling actually to get past Red Bull Kim with his front wing damage, but now Red Bull Kim has got the same damage. How is he going to react to it, Sean?
I think Chiapelli will. Well, Red Bull Kim, he's put up a valiant defence, but he's really pushing his luck. As you see him bounce against that ball there. That's really taken 4 or 5 guys out of this Grand Prix.
Oh, wow,
his name to it. It's Chiapelli.
Oh, he's just put a wow.
The thing is, they're pulling away very quickly from Dom. It's 13 seconds.
Oh, Dom, I believe, is still on those ultra softs, isn't he? Yeah,
he is indeed.
Dom and Michael Kennedy are the only two who've actually pitted in this race. Dom is basically thrown away at the podium the way it's standing at the moment. He was, he was easily on the podium, and he's now thrown it away by pitting too early.
He's not thrown it away yet. It's still 13 seconds. So once these two pit, they will.
Well,
be behind
if they
Dom.
pit, will it actually get dry enough? That is the question. I'm starting to question whether it actually gets dry enough.
No.
Oh, Chiapelli nearly finds himself in the wall. TGIP Plays has nearly a pit stop on his own teammate now. Just to point that out.
And do you know what? I'm just watching him through that corner that's got so many out, and he's taking it so easy through there. He's lifting off the throttle. He's just biding his time, being patient, and it's paying absolute dividends for him. He's just streaking away.
Yeah.
And you know, he's nearly a second and a half down on this lap, but it doesn't need to go. It could go like 5 seconds a lap slower than he currently is, and he'd be in the lead still. So he's got this. He's having a perfect night so far.
Yeah.
And I can't see past him winning this one.
Yeah.
Unless he suddenly hits the wall or something, which we've seen 8 drivers do already today.
Well, yeah, exactly.
He's coming in now for the pits.
Who's coming to the pits? TGIP Play. So he even feels it's dry enough now.
And do you know what? Dom is keeping pace with these two ahead of him now. The gap has stabilised.
He's still dropping a bit of time, actually. I will say he's still dropping time. He is the time difference is slowly coming down though. So I think the crossover this lap, Chiapelli finds himself in the wall. I think Red Bull Kim and Mr. Chiapelli will both find themselves in the pit lane. Yeah, I think they'll both find themselves in the pit lane this lap. TGIP Plays. Let's have a quick look at him.
He's come out in the lead. He's come
out in the lead as expected. What tyres is he on? He's on the Super Softs. He could have got away with
way too hot into there. Oh, Red Bull Kim's hit the wall. Oh my word! How's he kept that out of?
Wow. It's getting very touchy indeed. What on board with Red Bull Kim now?
Dom is catching now.
Yeah, Dom is starting to claw in on this battle finally. So now it is looking like the right. Yeah, Chiapelli's in, like you said. So it's now looking like the right time to switch over to the dry tyres. So Red Bull Kim needs to come in next time round.
You know what? Well, Red Bull Kim's just locked it into the wall at turn 2 near enough. Chris Johnson's not losing time to Plays, not at all. There's
your giveaway. Your giveaways come, Sean. DRS has been enabled now in this race. Michael Massey has enabled DRS here in TGB2, and that means that it will be time to switch onto the dry tyres any second now for the guys that haven't already. So expect Chris Johnson in this lap, Red Bull Kim in this lap. Who else hasn't stopped yet? I think Dizek hasn't stopped yet. Baz has just come in now. Michael Kenny's in. So yeah.
I'm going to call this now. I don't think Red Bull Kim's going to pit. I think he's going to try and stay out and see if he can get away with without stopping. I don't think it's going to work, but I think that might be his plan here.
Yeah, be interested to keep an eye on. We're following Chris Johnson at the moment now. Coming through towards.
Yeah, I think he's coming in.
Yeah, Chris Johnson is into the pit lane.
You've got to pit really. And what I was going to say was he was keeping up well with Plays on that lap, but as he got to the last sector, Plays second out all of a sudden. So the grip is gone, and Don is quickly closing in on Red Bull Kim. It's down to 7 seconds now.
Yeah.
Now, Chiapelli is probably going to jump Red Bull Kim as well because he's got the tyres earlier. So
yeah, Dom's tyres finally starting to give him some grip now. Is Red Bull Kim peeling into the pits this time round? Go keep an eye on him. He's coming through now. Oh, he's nearly in the wall again. Red Bull Kim. Is he going to peel in this time round? He's on the podium at the moment. Is he going to peel in? He's definitely going to lose it. I think he'll lose it no matter what. And yes, he's into the pit lane. Red Bull Kim has peeled into the pit lane. That means Dom Smith's got to go back up to P3.
The wall again.
Podium that we nearly thought was lost for Dom Smith he's regained it. Red Bull Kim into the pit lane. Chiapelli's going to come flying past now, and I think Bazza catching up to the back of Dizek is probably your next battle we're going to be looking at in this race. He's slowly clawing in now. He's now about 3.3 behind Red Bull Kim. Red Bull Kim comes out about 3 seconds behind Chiapelli. Has Dizek pitted yet? Dizek's pitted, so that means that, yeah, no real battles with about 4 laps to go in this race. So, I don't know who we're going to really ride on board with, to be honest. It's just...
I say we keep it... Well, I think Red Bull Kim's...
Well, Red Bull Kim's chipped off a bit of his front wing. I think he changed it in the stop, came out and he's chipped it, some of it off straight away. So, he looks set for a decent points finish in this race. He's still 18 seconds clear of Bazza, 17 seconds, but I think he should hold on to that. Chiapelli is probably safe in 4th now with Red Bull Kim's damage, and I don't see him catching Dom. TGIP plays 31 seconds up the road from his own teammate. What a masterclass from TGIP plays, wouldn't you say, Jean?
Absolutely, he's driven it to perfection. Like, the chaos around him at the start let him get away, and he's just managed the race beautifully, just like in China. It's quite funny looking at the fastest lap time thing at the moment, because it's like he's about 5.5 seconds quicker than anyone else going by fastest laps, so yeah. That's a rarity.
Yeah, I'm following him now.
He's been superb tonight.
Yeah, we're going to keep...
Oh! Chiapelli just caught the wall. I think he kept it out the wall, but he very, very nearly threw it in there.
Let's have a look. No front wing damage for Chiapelli there. No front wing damage for Chiapelli. So it looks like he's probably still going to be safe for 4th, and he sets the fastest lap of the race on his super soft tyres. So maybe if it was dry, we might have had a more competitive race and a bit more less chaos.
3.7 quicker than Dom that lap. So that
maybe that's not out of the question actually. A podium for Chiapelli there. You're right, Sean. With that sort of pace, podium's not out of the question for him. So Dom Smith needs to get his skates on in his Red Bull. Hopefully the Milton Keynes data centre and the pit will be telling him, you need to get your arse into gear, mate, and get yourself some time, because Chiapelli is catching you at a rate of knots, sunshine.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Dom is nearly a second quicker in Sector 1 alone, so he's up the pace as TGIP plays. That's another fast lap, a 46.7. That is pretty astonishing, but Chris Johnson really not finding that same pace, but then again, I think it is his first flying lap now on those tyres, so that's going to come down significantly. Dom struggling, you know, he's struggling. I think he's been on those tyres. He has been on those tyres for too long. He pitted way too early. Yeah. I think he.
And he's got a bit of front wing damage as well to add to his situation. I think Chiapelli's got a clean front wing as well, which isn't helping. So yeah, I think. Yeah, Chiapelli's got a clean front wing while there's damage to Dom, so that's not helping with the time either. So it was about 6 seconds, and it looks like that could be a battle towards the end of this race, actually. Chiapelli is clawing in on Dom. Yeah,
there's significant damage to the Red Bull. He's very slow in that corner. Well, Chiapelli, he could see the Red Bull in front of him now. He's going to be hunting him down his last 2 laps. I think he'll get the job done.
Yeah. TGIP plays is on his penultimate lap. Chiapelli once again sets fastest lap of the race this time round, giving TGIP plays a run for his money on fastest laps. Unlike real life F1, there's no points for fastest lap unfortunately, so no extra points for you today, Chiapelli. So far there's a yellow flag in sector 2. Can you investigate? It's Michael Kenny's out the race. He was running at the back of the field anyway, but now down to 7 guys still running in this race, and Dom Smith and Chiapelli nearly knocked off some of their front wing to driving a little bit too early into turn number 3 there. And now Chiapelli is now getting very, very close to the back of Dom Smith as they head towards the castle section now. I think this time round Dom Smith will Dom Smith will be dropped off the podium by Chiapelli. That was the words I wanted to say there. And plays on his final lap now is just absolutely giving the rest of the TGP2 field a masterclass, Sean.
Yeah, indeed. Perfect race run. 35 seconds clear. Like you say, Michael Kenny crashed at the same corner that pretty much half the field have crashed at. It's this corner coming up now where Dom and Chiapelli are about to go through. No dramas for those two though, which is good.
Yeah.
But you can see the bit of brake caliper and that on the track from where the incident happened.
Yeah, so we've got Mr. Chiapelli.
Surely kept on.
Chiapelli coming towards the last major braking zone on this circuit. He's all over the back of Dom Smith in his Red Bull now. So surely this time by, Chiapelli will fly straight past him. Didn't quite get the line right through the first of those flying corners though. But he's still going to be closing. The slipstream is going to be quite massive here at Baku. He's going to have the DRS open. Any idea where Plays is on the lap, by the way, Sean?
Yep, he's coming to near the last sector now. He's actually got Darzek in front of him.
Oh, Chiapelli's going to launch it round the outside of Dom Smith. He tried to make it work. Hasn't quite done so yet. In towards turn number 2 now. He's all over the back of him. We're going to follow this battle because it's the main thing happening in this race. Plays is probably going to cross the line any second now, the rate he's been going at. And Dizek's out. Dizek's left. Dizek's not out of the race. He's left. Chiapelli sweeps round the outside of Dom Smith. And I think that is move done. Yes, it is. That is the move done. And he is up into 3rd position. But meanwhile, TGIP Plays coming across the line for the final time in this race. He wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here in Baku. And we've got to wait nearly 38 seconds for his teammate Chris Johnson to come across the line. Chiapelli has dropped Dom Smith as predicted. Dom Smith had front wing damage from that. So Dizek is going to come home in 7th place. He's a lap down. Surprisingly, actually, the only car lap down in this race who's finished this. So, Chris Johnson coming up towards the line now. He's going to come home in 2nd position. Then we've got to wait nearly another 30 seconds for Mr. Chiapelli, who's going to come home in a podium spot. That's, I think, his best result, if not joint best result of the season so far. So, Mr. Chiapelli coming round this final sweeping few corners now. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. I'm not sure who that's going to be for. Maybe not Dom. Probably
just
red.
For the finish of the race more than anything.
Yeah, it might be that actually. Chiapelli coming across the line now. He takes home the final podium spot. Dom Smith is going to come home in 4th. Then we're waiting for Red Bull Kim, who's actually getting very close to the back of Bazza's getting very close to the back of Red Bull Kim, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Red Bull Kim is going to hold on to P5, and Bazza will come home in P6 in this race. Dizek was the last of the finishers in P7, and I said it was going to be a race of attrition, and boy, it turned out to be, Sean.
I can't quite believe what I've witnessed. What a crazy, crazy race. Absolute drama in the wet conditions, so it's just, those are the coolest of heads who have prevailed there, you have to say. TGIP Plays and Chris Johnson, brilliant one to for Salbert, absolutely crushed the field, but I don't think I've ever seen the first few laps like that before. It was carnage, just everyone struggling with the conditions, and I'm wondering if it was actually wet tyres early on, because a lot of the cars were very, very sideways in some of the corners early on. But very quickly it stopped raining, and then it just waiting for the track to dry up for these slicks. Yeah, so what a bizarre Grand Prix.
Yeah, very bizarre Grand Prix here in Azerbaijan around the Baku City circuit. So TGIP Plays takes the victory, and with his main championship rival not even finishing in the points. Well, actually, I think he's going to pick up a point for when he retired down in 12th there. But TGIP Plays wins the race from Chris Johnson. Then we have Mr. Chiapelli in 3rd. Dom Smith in 4th, Red Bull Kim in 5th, then we got 6th Bazza, Dizek is your last finisher in 7th, and then we have Michael Kenny will be classified as 8th, Hausitzer classified in 9th, Bossman Sean classified 10th, Mr. John classified 11th, Danscar classified in 12th, Sim Racing Davis classified in 13th, Goings classified in 14th, classified in 15th will be Leach Shots, and Marco in 16th, but only the top 12 will get points. So the DNFers in the top 12, that's 8th down to 12th, will end up with points. There, Sean. So Danscar will pick up a point, which could come in quite vital come the end of the season for him, won't it, Sean?
Yeah, but, you know, it's a major, major loss for him in the championship. He's lost the lead of the championship, and he's now 22 points down on his title rival, who has completely turned it around tonight. I think the 37-point swing, which is huge. So a lot of bad luck for Dan's car tonight, while TGIP Plays has had the perfect night with 2 race wins. So it'd be interesting to see how Dan's car comes back from this and recovers next week as we go to Britain and Austria. So
yeah, getting very interesting for Britain and Austria next week. But that has been TGP2 Season 22, rounds 6 and 7 from China and Azerbaijan. A very exciting race in China, and a race of attrition in Azerbaijan has left the title race very interesting indeed. And it probably means, I would say, Plays is probably leading the championship after tonight. But that's without looking at maths. But anyway, thank you for joining us in TGP2 Season 22. Thank you for joining us for this live stream, and we'll see you next time out for Britain and Austria, I believe. Yeah, Britain and Austria next time out. We'll see you there. Thank you for watching, and see you on PS4.